Hey everyone, welcome to the Hidden Tarot Talk Show with me, Aaron, and Ariel. Today we have Dominic calling from Long Beach, California. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we'll have a great interview. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Dominic Christopher Martin. I grew up in all over Southern California, but Hawaiian Gardens, Long Beach, Cerritos, Lakewood-ish. And yeah, so I'm excited to be here today. And basically, the reason why I wanted to do this is kind of like as a just inspirational type thing. A couple months back, I decided to build my own website, www.digitaldom.com, and as a way kind of just to tell my story and to let the world know kind of what I'm about, and then also as a way to promote other folks that are doing good things in the Los Angeles area. My motto is learn, grow, love, and serve. And so that's kind of a little bit about myself. Last year, I was honored as one of the hometown heroes in my hometown, Hawaiian Gardens, and so it was kind of cool being in the parade and doing the whole wave thing, and to old friends and family members that support me. So yeah, I'm just all about serving people, and one of the reasons why I was nominated as the hometown hero was I just love to serve people, and one of the ways I do that is through technology. And so what I did was basically I got some iPads for local leaders in my community, and just made an offer to them and said, hey, here's this iPad, absolutely free, no strings attached. I just want you to try to see if you can incorporate the iPad into whatever you do in leadership, whether it's the church or government type situations, and feel free to text or call if you have any technical questions. And so that's kind of what led to the whole like nomination for the hometown hero. I work at AT&T as a senior training supervisor, and so I'm kind of into like the whole tech things and things like that. And so yeah, I just love to serve people, and my hope is that by kind of looking at my website, following me on Instagram, Twitter, or wherever else, that people are inspired. And the one thing I want is that people just ask themselves the question of how can I serve? And so I think if you really dig down deep, there's definitely a lot of opportunities for folks to serve in their community and everywhere else. So that's kind of what I'm about. Another fun fact or cool thing is that I used to be a lot larger than I currently am. At my largest weight, I was 333 pounds, and so basically I went to the doctor and did the whole thing, and they said, oh, well, you have a medical condition. In order to do surgery, we're going to have you lose a little bit of weight. So I just said, well, how much weight do I have to lose? And so they said, well, you probably have to lose over 100 pounds. And so you have two choices. Either you can die or you can diet. And so I said, I think I'll choose life. And so I began kind of walking at my gym at my office, and then it slowly began to run. And so last year and the year before, so I ran the Long Beach half marathon, the OC half. Every year in Long Beach they have the 10K. So I've done that twice. And so in my office, I'm one of what we call like a Your Health Matters champion, where I talk with my leadership group just about simple ways to kind of keep everybody healthy. And so the reason why I do that is because I'm happily married, and I have two wonderful, beautiful, amazing children, and I want to live a long time for them. And so I teach them healthy habits and things like that. And I remember when we came home from the whole parade and everything, my son was like, Dad, you're a superhero. He's into like the whole comic book and superhero thing. And so I just said, well, son, the superheroes are people that help other people. And so if I'm a superhero, then you can be a superhero too. And so I love what Ariel is doing. I follow her on Instagram and stuff, and I see all the cool charity work with Deep in Love. And so you guys are doing a great thing, and I would encourage all the folks that are listening to follow her as well, and see everything that's going on, and try to find a way where you can kind of be a superhero to your community, to your family. And I was recently interviewed in a local newspaper and local TV, and I just think at the end of my life, I'm not going to say, I wish I would have just made an extra 10 grand or made more money. I think the question that I'm going to be asking myself is, I wish I would have served better. I wish I would have loved better and had stronger relationships with people. And so that's kind of what I'm all about. And I teach, or I help kind of direct youth and I've just started the whole social media thing, so I'm kind of new to that whole thing. About 8 months ago, I go, you know what? I think I'll jump on this whole Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest thing, and I'm just like, yeah. But it's actually been really beneficial. I've been able to connect with people that I've never would have had an opportunity to connect with. So that's kind of my story. On the professional side of the house, I've been all over the country. I've been to the Philippines, traveling, and basically I teach leadership skills and how to be a better leader. But it all comes down to serving. And I think if you want a successful marriage, if you want a successful relationship, if you want to be a successful parent even, if you can just learn how to serve the other person, I think that's when kind of the magic happens. And so that's a little bit or a lot of bit about who I am and what I'm about. If you want to find out more about me, again, you can follow me at Digital Dom, and that's digital and then D0M. And I chose to put zero inside of my name or my username because it's just a reminder to myself and to everybody else that without the love and support of my friends and my community, that's what I'll be, a zero. And so hopefully I'm a +1 in your guys' lives and in the community that I serve, and that hopefully I've inspired you. And again, you can go to my website, digitaldom.com, and find out all about the health story and the features and things like that. And then I also promote other folks on there that are doing things around the world, impacting the world for the good. So yeah, that's about me. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions for me, but yeah, that's what I'm about.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And that seems to be the theme of today, is the word hero, superhero, being your own hero. I do have a question for you. Most of the time, those of us who are in the community actively helping started from a place of pain. And so my question to you is, have you always just had a carefree, easy life and you just always wanted to help? Or was there something more personal, maybe on the dark side, that led you to wanting to help others?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So the darker side of the house is basically I grew up and my dad left my home when I was 5 years old. And my mom grew up or raised me as a single parent. And so I'm the baby of 5. That's why I'm so spoiled, everybody says. But so I kind of grew up in a low income area, and I just kind of had all these hard knocks, and especially with my health and being overweight, I definitely had a lot of things that I had to overcome. And so it is kind of from a darker place, and I think when I think back and I just think, I'm just some kid that grew up in SoCal, and now I get to travel around the world. I traveled all across the country, and I get to help people. And so I just think that it does come from a place of maybe not so good things. Flowers don't just grow out of nowhere; they grow out of the dirt. And so sometimes when you see that struggle and you see that the dirt around you, it's just an encouragement that it's time to blossom and it's time to kind of rise above your environment. A lot of the people that I did grow up with, they are either no longer with us, or they're in jail, or they're in bad situations. And so I made a personal choice that I wasn't going to surround myself into negative environments, and I chose to kind of blossom. And yeah, so it definitely comes out of a darker place, but it's up to that person to make the choice. And it was definitely up to me that said, it was my encouragement to say, someday I'd like to be a good father and I'd like to be a good husband. And I think I'm doing that now. And one thing that I just constantly teach my kids is just have an attitude of gratitude. So before we go to bed every night, I have them tell me 3 things that you're thankful for. And then so they sometimes have a hard time, and I'm like, really think about it. And I think when we kind of think about, hey, you know what, I am blessed. I do have a place to live. I do have a roof over my head. I do get fed every day. Those are some things that other people don't have. And so I think it's them, and now it's just part of the groove. Brush your teeth, take a shower, do your thing, and then let's talk about what we're thankful for. So I think when we start talking about the positive things, that's when we can grow, and that's when we can inspire other people.
Dominic, I want to know, not just so much physically, but more so mentally. What advice do you give to the next person when a doctor says you have a diet or diet? Like, I just want to dig back into what you were saying a couple minutes ago. What do you say to that? What advice do you have?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, this life. I mean, we only have a short amount of time frame to live here, and so my faith, teaches that your body is a temple of God, and so I just think that it's important to take care of yourself. And some people say, well, no, no, I'm fine, I'll be fine, I'm good. But I think it's just it is a matter of life and death. And when we kind of think, okay, maybe it's not about me, but maybe it's about my two kids or having a long, healthy relationship with my wife until old age. When you start thinking kind of outside of just yourself, then you start thinking, you know what, I do want to make healthy choices. And so I'm definitely not a dietitian or a health expert, but just everybody tries to find this magical trick to losing weight and saying, oh, well, try this or do this, and it just all comes down to diet and exercise. However you want to slice that, that's where it goes. And so I know before, like, to join a gym, it was like super expensive, and then you had to find one that had childcare and stuff like that. So now I think coming into this new digital age, you can download it on your smartphone, you can have it on your iPad or even your computer, where you can download a fitness thing. And there's just so many free resources out there to stay healthy, to stay fit. And really, it's not about ourselves. It's kind of about our family, our friends. We want to live a long time and be healthy for them. And so, yeah, there's no shortcut. It's a lot of work. It took me about a year and a half, or about a year, to lose all the weight, and it was just starting from scratch, just a couple of steps, just a little walk here, and now yeah, and now, like, I just try to keep it, now I'm just trying to maintain, so it's 3 times a week and things like that. But even then, I'm trying to up it now, and so there's low cost gyms and things like that where people could take advantage. So yeah, your health matters, and definitely take care of yourself. That's muy importante.
Well, I know it's a physical thing and also a mental thing, but it's also a space coming from a space of self-love and being able to acknowledge it. So what does self-love mean?
Self-love is definitely and you make a great point. So you can't love other people unless you have a love for yourself. And so I just believe that everybody is created in God's image, that we're all beautiful, we're all wonderful, and we need to embrace that. And so I know some of the young people that I deal with, they deal with self-esteem issues and things like that. And so it is part of being able to love yourself and say, hey, you know what? Despite all the imperfections, I know that I'm perfect in God's sight, and because of that, I want to live my life and love myself and take care of myself. And so, part of being successful is not only working hard, dedication, getting good feedback, but also it's a part of kind of taking care of you, knowing when to take a break, knowing when to rest and relax, and knowing when to eat right and be healthy. Yeah. So I agree with that.
I love it. One thing we hear all the time, we host a support group in Culver City for suicide, depression, self-injury, and it expands to so much more. One thing we hear a lot, and I receive emails and messages on Facebook as well, I want to help people, but I don't know how. What do I do? How do I start? What is your advice to that question?
I think it's just start small. So I think you just find people anywhere, just find resources online, and try to go from there. I would say there's a saying, if you can find your niche, you can become rich. And so find out what you're good at, and then capitalize on that thing that you're good at, and then also find out where you have areas of improvement. And I think people will give you honest feedback and say, hey, you know what, I think that should be a little bit better. And that'll actually make you more profitable, in any area, but also in service. And so kind of one thing that I started messing around is my brother took his computer to Best Buy. They charged him $500, and they couldn't fix his computer. So he's like, hey, Dom, can you help me out? And so, I'll mess around with it. Well, I ended up fixing it and handing it to him maybe like an hour later and said, hey, it's all fixed. He's like, how much do I owe you? I said, no, you're good. And what that led to is that in my church, I started saying, hey, does anybody have any computers that have viruses or have issues? And all of a sudden, everybody's hand raised up, and I was able to kind of help them. And everybody asked the same question: how much do I owe you? Or how much do you want to get paid? And the amount is zero. I don't need money. I just need to be able to know in my heart that I've served and I've done my part to help my community. And so it started kind of there, and then it started building on where now it's like other areas of development of web design and graphics and things like that are starting to come into play. And so I just want to be able to help people with technology, help people with with that kind of stuff. So I would just say find out what you're good at and definitely start small. Don't think that service is always the spotlight. Sometimes I do things behind the scenes that nobody hears about, that no one gives me an award or gives me a parade for, but it's still good to me because I did it because I wanted to, and I think that's important too, is that you do things from a genuine, sincere place. And so start small, and then definitely utilize the resources. I'm sure there's somewhere to click somewhere down here on the website where folks can find out how to serve with Ariel and things like that. Yeah.
I love it. Start small. One thing we always talk about is solely just sitting and asking that very question. How can I serve? How can I help people? What do I love to do? Taking the time to ask yourself, write it down, and just keep pondering on it, keep thinking about it. And then, like you said, start small. Just start putting your hands in other places. Volunteer, donate, contribute, say yes to opportunities that come your way. I love it. Before we wrap up, one of our favorite questions to ask is, do you have a quote or affirmation or saying that you live your life by you want to share with us? Other than your learn, grow, love, serve one, which is awesome.
Usually, like when I sign things or whatever, I just say, positive. I just usually say, happy thoughts and positive vibes, because that's what I'm all about. And some people may perceive things as different, but usually if I send an email, I'm just like, hey, you know what? Positive vibes, happy thoughts. Love God and love other people. It's really simple. And yeah, so that's definitely my tagline. So, and yeah. Feel free to visit me on any of the social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. Yeah, so I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/digitaldom, and I have some tech stuff and some other stuff you might want to check out. But yeah, so thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Thank you, everybody listening in. This is Hidden Heroes with Ariel and Aaron, and today's Hidden Hero has been Dominic Martin. Thank you for tuning in. Dominic, thank you for being with us, and everybody have a fantastic evening.